Now, with that stated, let's turn to the next graphic here, which tells you very clearly, it gives you a look into what the hell is going on with this policy of quantitative easing, which has been the policy not only under Obama, but prior under the Bush administration. As with all of the Bush policies, Obama has made them much, much worse. And in this case, quantitative easing, which is also what's being done in Europe through the ECB, what the Bank of Japan is now implementing, the Bank of England, and of course, helicopter Ben Bernanke's policies at the Federal Reserve. Over the 4 or 5 years from 2008, 5 years through the end of 2012, i.e. on Obama's watch, the amount of actual new funds issued by the Federal Reserve and pumped into the U.S. banking system is today over $2.5 trillion. Now, the total bailout was much bigger than that by an order of magnitude. I'm talking about the new money pumped in by the Fed with the argument of, hey, we got to help out the banks because then they'll be able to lend. Because look at what's actually happened. The quantitative easing was $2.5 trillion. Bank deposits did in fact go up over this 5-year period to about 1.6, 1.7 trillion. But was this money lent? Of course it wasn't lent. It went to play the double or nothing casino game. It was not lent out. And in fact, total bank lending, which is the red line below, dropped by $1 trillion during the same period that $2.5 trillion in new money was thrown into the banking system. So the whole thing, the whole argument, the whole Obama argument is a complete farce, is fraudulent, patently fraudulent on the face of it. Now, it's actually much worse than this, as is the problem of the credit supernova, much worse than Gross says by at least an order of magnitude. It's a credit supernova squared. But here too, because bank lending itself is not all productive lending. In fact, a sort of a quick rule of thumb estimate is that perhaps half of that lending in any given year is productive in the economy. And the other half is completely speculative by its own rights, going into interbank lending, going into mortgage speculation, and so on and so forth. So what you're actually looking at here is a problem which is even worse than reflected in these kinds of figures.